Bonjour, Jen.
Bonjour, how are you, Lisa?
Welcome to my podcast. I'm happy to have you. I've been watching your work on Instagram and YouTube,
Okay.
and I wanted to do an interview with you because I think your story is very interesting and inspiring. Um, can you tell us a bit about you and why did you move to France?
Wait, and I also wanted to say, I looked into some of what you're doing. I am so proud of someone at your age doing what you're doing. And I also noticed that you're really approaching things from the standpoint of what will help someone. A lot of people on Instagram, especially the younger people, seem to be talking about themselves and not actually talking about what in Silicon Valley we call the end user.
Okay.
And I think that you have a lot of potential
Oh,
because
merci.
you're really talking about a need that expats especially have in France to integrate more into France because it's very easy for us not to because everyone speaks English and everyone wants to practice his or her English. But the questions that you pose really had me thinking, wow, you know what? I probably do need to assimilate more into the French culture.
Mm,
I've been getting by without doing it. I've been here a little over a year and a half. And especially up here near Paris, you don't need to speak French. We, but the
yeah.
questions you asked, I was like, wow, I hadn't thought of that before.
Okay, interesting.
So what I know, you're wanting to talk with me, and I know that your followers know about you, but can you even talk about that just a little? How, because it felt like you were actually empathetically walking in my shoes.
I see. Yeah. The
Do you
thing
want to
is,
mention that?
yes, of course.
Okay.
I've I've been living abroad for a while now,
Yeah.
and it's like I understand everything you can go through because even though, okay, you're living in France and I was living in another place,
Wait.
but it's the same struggles and the same
Yeah.
things come back. And it's not only about the language, and it's also about the culture, understanding the culture,
Mm.
which sometimes is difficult to assimilate and integrate. My partner is Argentinian, and
Oh, wow. Oh,
it's I learned a lot. I thought I was like, yeah, culturally it's fine, and at the end, no. It's so many little things that you
yeah.
need to know and you need to understand, literally. And I thought, okay, I'm French. I've lived all my life in France. I can help people coming
Yeah.
here in France, and just help them with that, with the French, of course, and the real French, but also with all the little things that
The
make
little things.
France and the
Wait.
French people how they are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really passionate about my work and about what I do. Um, it's
Mm.
just how life brought me in this path.
Yeah.
So,
A life. I had no idea any of this would be happening. I mean, can we say we, we started to Lisa's people, we started what, 15 or 20 minutes late because this old lady did not understand that I needed to first check the link that Lisa sent last week and s- see if I was set up for the technical requirements, and people are going to laugh. I didn't have Google Chrome. Sorry, I have a husky with dog in my lip gloss. Okay. So I sit down to open this up, and it turns out I don't have the requirements. So then I'm getting my 23-year-old son to help me. And finally, we had to resort to going to Zoom, which is the product that I know from the United States. And most people have Chrome, so this isn't even an issue. But the point is that I did not set out to be a technology Instagram social media person at all. I had, and and it's a good thing because I'm not technologically um, oriented. Okay.
Mm,
So I am a classic late adopter. Regarding the whole Instagram thing, I just fell into it by mistake. Um, and the whole idea for this business just came to me while I was sitting in my garden here. I didn't formulate any of this. It's like I tapped into the collective consciousness. I somehow and just started receiving things because I didn't think of them on my own. It just came and came and came. Okay, I'm 62, so you don't know what it's like at this age. I've experienced a lot of things that you can't have yet because of your age. And I don't know the demographic of your followers. Most of mine are older. Okay. I'm
mm,
45 years and above. Everything that I've experienced seems to have added up to a sum of my just sort of having let go. And that might be part of it too. And while I get torqued up over things, like trying to get on our podcast here the way you had it designed, and thank you for your flexibility. But I think that it's just the sort of letting go process that creates the space inside of us for new things to come in. And so while I'd like to take a lot of credit, I and I do get some credit for what I have done with things, the whole idea of what to do was not my idea.
mm. It was not planned.
And I, without understanding it, saw a gap in the marketplace. But again, I didn't even see it. It came to me that there's a gap in the marketplace for people who are considering moving over from the United States specifically to France. And actually, I have people in Canada, Mexico, and the United Kingdom and Australia. It's very interesting. But they're the consultants and the experts that I absolutely recommend. Immigration attorney, real estate relocation expert. That's what I paid a lot of money for. Okay. But then there's what I'm calling a soft landing, where you can just talk with someone who's actually walking the path at not these high fees and
Mm,
just sit down and have a one-on-one. And again, without being too much of a Californian and an airy fairy thing, I didn't come up with this. It just came to me. It was, and you may have seen the reel on this. I'm sitting in the garden. It's between hip surgeries, which is a whole nother thing. And I'm thinking to myself out loud to myself, you know what? You have a story. You have a story of resilience, courage, whatever else that came to me, and of going for it.
mm-hmm. And you have the experience
Hmm. And you
of
need,
going through.
yeah, and you need to share it. And then the business plan just kept coming like I was downloading it, like Chrome.
That's gonna be an inside joke.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then I thought, well, how do I get my clients? They're in the United States and I'm in France. And then I thought, well, how about Instagram? And in th I launch it on March 9th. I build it up and then I launch it on March 19. I go live and we're viral in weeks. And I add
Mm.
hundreds of people a day. And there were days where I had over 1,000 people coming on a day.
The
then
universe is doing its job.
the universe is doing its job. Yeah. And then I couldn't believe it. People started wanting to talk with me. So now I have clients and I came over here to retire. Like if you were sitting here with me right now, you would see I'm trying to keep it together and be a little briefer and a little more concise for your audience. But this was not something I was going to be doing.
Mm. And
It's
you came to
nothing I
France
thought
to
of.
retire,
I
but
came here to
why did
retire.
you choose France?
Wait, so you say women who choose France. Okay. Practical reasons first, and then my heart.
Mm.
So practical reasons include the cost of living here compared to coastal California, where I'm from. Carmel, California, probably one of the most expensive places to live. Yeah.
Mm.
And one of the nicest. But I looked at my finances and my savings and what I was earning and how hard I was working as a realtor for Sotheby's to earn my money and how it just seemed that the expenses just kept going up and up and up. And this was back in early 2024, before any
Mm.
of this new stuff happened. Okay. And I thought, I'm never going to get to retire. I'm going to have to work until I die. And I was looking at my overhead, and I won't state what it was, but it was definitely five figures every month. And I was thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Right? How can I stop doing this and have a more peaceful existence? So I thought, move out of Carmel, but you have to, in the United States, now you're in a quandary because, well, where else do you live that's as nice, that has the cost of living where you don't need to earn money anymore? And I don't think I even gave it more than a half of a second thought
Mm.
before I said France, because I knew from previous recent trips to France that this economy is set up differently. And then when I looked into actual cost of living, um, and how far the money I already had would go, I thought, well, now we'll go to the heart. Why wouldn't I move to where I've always wanted to live since I was in my 20s, my late 20s, right? And the more I looked into it, versus in my comment section, I get some questions. I'm like, just could you go on the website for different French websites and actually look and see how easy it is to do these things and what the real truth is? Um, the more I looked into it, the more valid it became. I would have liked to have talked with someone like me first, but
Mm.
I didn't. So I spoke with two people. Well, three people. I had a 2 hour consultation first with Adrian Leeds, Leeds, of House Hunters International. And I would 110% recommend a consultation with her, but it was a fair amount of money. And then she said to me the thing I needed to hear, which is, I think you're going to get over here sooner. I thought, and I did. I got over in that calendar year. So that I think was in April or May of 2024. I think in Reels I've said May. I'm not quite sure on that. And she helped me understand a number of things, including how inexpensive it would be to actually live here. And then she recommended an immigration attorney, Daniel Tostado, in
Mm.
Paris. And I emailed to him, and he set me up with one of his associates who's now back in school, but Sadia Loris loved her. And she and I had another expensive consultation, but she sent to me about a 5-page document by email that laid out exactly what I needed to do specific to what I wanted, which was
Right.
it was about a long stay visitor's visa, 1 year plus. There's a distinction. If you don't hit the paperwork right and online when you start that process, you end up in a situation, my understanding is you can't renew for another year. And
Mm,
no one take anything from me. You talk to an immigration attorney, okay? But all the mistakes that people make, I didn't make because I had paid experts for that. And then I did a bunch of inside work because I'd had a very ugly divorce where my husband had a girlfriend and he married her right after the divorce. And we didn't even understand until uh, a month or two after the divorce what had actually happened. And, I'm still trying to get my head around that.
mm,
But I'd had a couple of different modalities of therapy, and some of it was deep subconscious work. And with a person, an expert in that. And I was sitting at the beach, Carmel Beach, after body surfing one afternoon, and I realized I was living in a holding pattern. And that woke me up and it scared me. And so that was July of 2024, early July. And I came home and I talked with my son, who was home from college. And I said, what do you think? And he said, go for it. And then the other part of this that I want to, and so I moved in five months, but the other part I want to talk about is, and I don't get to put it in my reels, and I probably should do a reel. There's pushback, and I understand it, for having people move from another country into France and partake in the French social system. And the thought process includes, and I get this, you're coming in and you're benefiting from a system that you haven't contributed to. But in my research, I have determined that the French government has made an assessment that the economy overall, and an economy is a system, it's not one or two parts, it's everything. That in this economy in France, Americans especially who come over bring in so much money into the system, it more than compensates the system for anything that we get back from the system.
mm,
So I've had two hip surgeries, two hip replacements. I didn't even know I had a problem with my hips until July of 2025. I thought I had a problem with my leg that would be resolved by physical therapy. I was just wrong. I had osteonecrosis of both hips, it turns out. I've had two hip surgeries here, and then my son has had two surgeries here. And
mm,
I can tell you from the bills that I have put way more money into the
mm,
system. And I've actually paid up front for everything. I haven't been reimbursed yet. I'll get reimbursed. I have my carte vitale now, but I'll get reimbursed for 70 to 80% of that. But to the people that just want to fire out, well, you're coming in and you're getting this, that, and the other thing, trust me, I'm putting more money into the system than I'm extracting. And the French government understands that. And that's, I think, why it's made things so possible and so friendly for Americans
mm.
to come in.
And how was it? How was like the health service?
In the US, for a hip replacement, I believe you get dropped off and they do the replacement and then you come home.
Mm,
Here, they had me for 4 nights in the hospital in a private ensuite, almost floor to ceiling windows that I could open up for fresh air and real sun. Okay, the French get it. Okay. They had me check in the night before to monitor me, and then they held me 3 more nights. And then I had a mandatory ambulance ride home.
right.
Then I had such exhaustive pre-operation appointments that it was a month of pre-op, including dental exams.
Mm,
They want to make sure everything's working and you don't have any infections of any kind. And then afterwards, 31 days. after I got home, 31 days of home care nurses to give me an anti-blood clot shot, and the first surgery, blood draws for blood testing once a week, the second surgery twice a week. Physical therapy, 15 sessions. I have, I think, two more because she and I skipped some weeks, and then she's hiking in the Alps this week with one of her friends. Um, 15 sessions with the physical therapist. I walk half a block away. The doctor, Dr. Fournol, Fournol, I think he's one of the OGs, old gangsters, of hip and knee replacements here in Fontainebleau and maybe Ile-de-France, I'm not sure. He's only just a few years older than I am, I think. But he actually designed the stuff that went in me, part
Mm.
part of it, yeah. And because he was so proud as he was describing it, and I thought, wait, did he? And I said, did you design that? And he says, this part. Okay. But what they did is it's symbolic. And I think that you understand the deeper things in life. I had osteonecrosis of my hips. That means bone death.
Mm.
I had it cut out and replaced with titanium. So my hips were disintegrating. They're where we store our trauma, and they are the foundation of our body. They connect both parts and they are in charge of mobility. Okay, it's a very deep thing.
Mm.
And now we have taken out the bone death and we have replaced it with one of the strongest materials we know of. It's a combination of metals. And then the other thing is the symbolism there is huge, but I asked my I used Gemini AI, and I said, is there a possibility? Is there any research, however I phrased it? And I will ask like 6 paragraphs at a time. My prompts, my son goes, Mom, you can't say so much. Yeah, I can. It's designed that way. Okay. Um, I asked, is there something that happens to the recipient a, of a new titanium body part that's beyond the physical? And there's research that indicates that it could have more impact on a person than just the physical. If anything, because it gives you so much more buoyancy and so much more confidence
Mm. And energetically also, I
energetically.
guess.
We. So,
Interesting.
okay, now the dog wants to play fetch. She'll have to wait, honey.
You
Hmm.
moved with your dog and your cats, right?
Wait. So, I brought 3 pets. I brought my 2 snow dogs. The older one did not make the trip over well, and she had underlying health issues. I tried to have my ex-husband take her. He said he would not.
Mm.
And so I brought her, and she was his dog. And now they're looking at puppies.
Mm.
Mm. So she, she didn't make it. I had to put her down. I was living in Normandy and she was getting really sick. She'd had a benign cyst removed a few months beforehand, and she had some other issues going on, and she was 14 and a big girl. So we put the vet and I decided we would let her go, and I held on to her on the floor when, because she was huge, um, and helped her, we say in America, cross the Rainbow Bridge. And then
Mm.
I have the Siberian Husky, and I have the cat. She's about 14 and he's about half her age. And it was a really hard uh, transition over here because of a lot of things that went wrong. And so having the pets was really important for me. And I was alone. My kid, let's see, Guy helped me move over for 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks that I was here in December of 2024. And then he had to go back to school in California.
Right.
But then he was back all summer um and then he moved in January.
Hmm.
He graduated from college and then he starts grad school in another country over this side um in at the end of August, his first choice.
Okay.
So
And socially, how has it been for you?
mm.
Because you didn't know anybody, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Again, I don't have a normal story. So I moved 5 times in my first half year because the first place I got through Airbnb had a major health and safety issue, and we had to leave the next day.
Okay.
So then I had temporary, temporary, temporary until I could take this place July 1 of last year. And I have a 3-year lease, and I believe I'm going to stay at least another year. But I've been so focused on not being able, I became crippled last July. I couldn't even stand up straight. My
Mm,
left hip had just disintegrated, and um, I haven't been out doing stuff. I haven't even gotten to travel really. So, if you can see on my face, it's sad to me. I've met some people. I did make three sets of friends where I was for 4 months before moving here. But no, I mean, I had my second hip surgery in March and my first
ah
surgery in
oui.
September. My
Yeah,
first
you're
year.
just recovering. Mm,
Yeah. And again, it's one thing to have surgery, but the anxiety, fear, pain, lack of sleep, discomfort, the pain, it crushes you. So people say, well, what about your friends, your new friends in France? Well, I've kind of been in the house, you know?
ouais,
Yeah.
ouais,
And it's not a language thing as much as it is just not being out there. So,
right. Mhm.
but to your point on language, I know that if I were to eventually get out and assimilate and integrate more, then I would make those connections,
Right.
right?
Because you live in is it like countryside where you live? Like it's
No,
small?
no, no. I'm in Fontainebleau,
Okay.
and I think we're
Hmm.
about 15,000 people here.
Yeah.
And you can't hear, well, you can hear a jet going overhead. You can't hear it, but 40 feet away is Rue Grande, the main street.
Ah,
So videos are funny when I have one from a few weeks ago where I'm talking about my typical Sunday, and then I'm out front of the house, and then the next scene is the backyard, and you can't hear anything.
right.
As there's see, I was in real estate for 20 years in California. I know how to, there's more to what a property seems like. It's how will you live in it? There's a feel. And I could tell that I had a noise berm here of all these buildings running across Rio Grande in front of me, and that it would keep this place beautiful and soft and pleasant and peaceful and quiet, and it has. So
Mm.
it seems like I live out in the country, right? Like, but
Yeah,
I
it
don't live
looks,
that. I
yes.
don't. Yeah, it's an 80 square foot or 80 square meter walled garden, like from
That's
a
amazing.
Hollywood movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Lisa, I only pay 1,300 a month. And I step outside my door and I have everything from my bank, the print shop, all of the grocery stores, restaurants, physical therapy, hospital 3 blocks up the street. Um, anything I did need a rental car for Christmas time. I took a trip down to Bordeaux before the right hip went. I have Enterprise car rental half a block up the street. I
Yeah.
just walked, right, to get the rental car. The farmer's market 3 times a week here on the side of the street, 2 blocks up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You
And I
found the
didn't,
right place.
I know, and I didn't, well, and that was a whole thing too. But it fell into my lap. Okay, I did some of the footwork, but it was very much a thing that I received.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah. So I get to have this lifestyle I never even thought was possible of having a very suburban s- uh, home,
Hmm.
okay, or country home in a town.
Voilà. All the convenience like of a town, of course. Yeah.
We, we,
And you can walk a lot.
yeah, and we have the forest, which I haven't gone into yet, up the street, and then we have the woods down the street,
Ouais.
and I go in the woods a lot with the dog.
Hmm. It's
What,
nice.
when you're in Spain, what kind of a setting? Are you in Spain now or are you in France?
I'm in Spain, yes.
Okay.
It's
Why Spain?
called, yeah, tell me.
Oh, why Spain?
Because, so we've lived in Mexico and Argentina with my partner.
Right. Okay.
Uh, and I mean, Spain is more stable for work,
Oh,
for
then
him.
France? Oh, for him. Okay.
Not than France, but comparing to Argentina.
Yeah.
So that's why we chose Spain. And the thing is, he doesn't speak French. So I'm a French teacher, but my partner doesn't speak French, right? But
So
don't blame it on me.
wait, which language do you speak with each other? Spanish?
Spanish, yeah.
Okay. Wow, okay.
Yeah. So I
Wow.
knew Spanish before. I learned it at school for years and I traveled a lot. Um, so France is not really something we thought about. First for the language, and second, I think I also like to live abroad. Um, it's
Oh,
not
I
always
get you're
easy,
preaching to the
mais
yeah, you're preaching to the choir. Learn something new, experience something new. Yeah.
exact. It's
Yeah.
like a lot of challenge. It's stressful, but
Yeah.
you get so much from it. Like you learn a new way of living your life,
Yes.
and also the people. Like they have different ways of seeing life, and it's so fulfilling. Like
Yeah.
I would not be the same if I stayed in France or in the place where I grew up, for sure.
D- Did you come up with your business idea before leaving France or after leaving France?
After, yeah,
See?
okay.
So, um, if I'm understanding correctly, we both had ideas come to us once I guess we opened up from being in a new environment.
Mm. I guess it creates much more opportunities, and you're right. Also, you are more open to anything coming. And it happened because I worked in Mexico in the tourism industry because I was working as a receptionist in hotels, campsites.
Okay.
And in Mexico, the like it's not as nice as working in France when we talk about like how are treated the employees, and
Uh,
it's like you can't leave. You just work, basically. And you
yeah.
know, I'm from France, and for us, you have a balance
You
for
have
most of
workers,
the
right?
French people,
Yes.
right? It's very important.
Life work balance. Yeah.
So I was like, I cannot live my life like this.
Mm,
No, I don't want to. And that's just how I started teaching online. And it just started like this, just because I was like, what I'm going to do in my life, I don't want to live like this.
yeah.
And yeah, it's been 3 years now, and
Really?
yeah.
I think that uh, the system of putting ourselves into a new environment
Mm,
that necessitates our reaching and growing and pivoting and changing and stretching must have some sort of impact on us internally. Everything is new. Nothing is the way we expected. Nothing happens the way we expected, or almost nothing. I mean, like I've just gotten used to thinking I'm going to do something during the day or a series of things, and there's a fermeture exceptionnel, and there's the this, and there's the that, right? And I've gotten used to it. I'm not saying I'm relaxed about it, but every day it seems there's there's no routine. Do you get what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
not the same thing over and over and over again. It's always new stuff. And the brain is a muscle,
Yeah.
and it's having to do way more push-ups and pull-ups and deep knee bends for me than I ever expected because of this the thing with my hips especially. But then I think the gift of that was just becoming so receptive.
Mm. Yeah, because you need
So
to be ready to receive
yeah,
it. Right.
yeah. Well, because I if I were still in the United States, I'd be doing the same thing over and over again, right?
Mm.
Over here, I would have ended up with the hip problem over there. The injury was over there, I think, to my leg. It happened the night of my divorce. I was
Oh,
I was very
okay.
upset. Yeah. And November of 2023. And I know what I was doing. I know what happened. I kept getting inaccurate medical care. No one even thought that it could be the hips. The closest someone got was the massage therapist at my chiropractor's office saying, I think there's something wrong with your psoas. And that's all, it's all the same system. Okay. But so if this had happened over there, it would have been a different set of circumstances and it would have been a lot easier because I would have known that system versus learning this system. I've been pushed so hard. So if I had just moved over here without the mobility and pain issues, I really doubt we'd be talking right now
Mm.
because it was that extra awfulness, including last fall, which was awful for another reason I won't go into, but it was just a terrible last fall right after the surgery. If all of that hadn't happened, I would have been not pushed as hard as I have been to have to
Mm-hmm.
just give up to be open enough to receive. But I see plenty of people just like you now just be pushed enough by being in a new country.
Mm.
You don't need to have your whole physical self disintegrate. When people think about leaving the United States for a country like France, they probably are going to not encounter all of this, but they'll encounter other things.
Right.
And what is the point of life? Is it to sit around or is it to experience?
You know my answer. Yeah. Now that you're recovering and
Yeah.
you're going through something new, do you have plans? Do you want to learn French? Do you want to discover other things?
Right now, I'm preoccupied with a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
And once that levels off, then I'll see about the other things. The two things I'm preoccupied with, three things. Guy still has ongoing health stuff, and we see the doctor again tomorrow. And we were at the doctor last week, and we need things aren't healing up the way we anticipated. And he is a athlete, so it's not him. Okay, it's his system. All right.
Mm.
Um, and then I'm preoccupied with getting him to this new country at the end of August. And I'm preoccupied with this business. And, you know, I didn't, I, it's giving me such new purpose and spark and joy. And like the book, Spark Joy. And it's, I mean, go into a very deep philosophical conversation about it. I'll just say that it's lighting a fire. Okay. I feel like I have a lot more that I want to do with the business before I start doing other things. So not in a holding pattern, in a very mindful place of just
Mm-hmm.
getting organized the way I want things to be. And then because we can do this, like my meetings with clients are on Zoom,
Mm.
I don't have to physically be here at my house.
Right.
Right. So then as I feel that I want to, I'll take more trips. And it's difficult because of the pets. So there's a whole layer. Okay. So it's not like I can just take off. I have to make arrangements for them. Although for Christmas, I brought the puppy or the husky with me. I call him the puppy. Um, but to answer your question, once I feel that I've kind of got things where I want them wise, with a caveat, I think I'll start doing some more travel. And
Mm-hmm.
this will be after Guy goes to his new country. And I'm planning on going in early October
Okay.
to see him. And I'm laughing though because of two things or a number of things that I can identify right now. I think business, and for you too, will keep growing and will keep expanding, and new opportunities will keep coming up. So maybe I'm a long way from wanting to leave and do travel. I will tell you about my weekend and also about our getting to talk. Um, the other part is I have a joke. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. I have
Mm.
had that as a favorite joke for over 30 years now. Tell him your plans because, again, was never going to be on a podcast. I was never going to be talking with a woman like you who's doing what you're doing. And the weekend I had was extraordinary. So I don't know if you know who this person is. You can Google her, Susan Herman Loomis. She is she's an OG of French cuisine. She's a US
Okay.
expat who has been living in France for, I believe, over 30 years now, or maybe longer. And we're about the same age. And has written best-selling cookbooks.
Mm-hmm.
She is a journalist, including for the New York Times. She has this, she's a chef and she has this cooking school. And she, a couple of weeks ago, reached out to me and asked, did I want to collaborate and come up to Paris to be in one of her cooking classes, one of her half-day classes, and post about it on my page. And if you go to my page, you'll see the latest reel on it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course. Absolutely, right? And so on Saturday, instead of what I normally would have been doing here, which would be whatever, I mean, if this whole Instagram and the business thing hadn't happened, whatever I thought I was going to be making strawberry preserves in a farmhouse somewhere with strawberries that I had grown, I found myself going up to Paris for an influencer event. A 62-year-old brand new to Instagram influencer invited. Um, and and I had the most beautiful day up there learning how to cook with her, a beautiful luncheon for the seven of us, meeting these young people like you, okay, some even younger, who are striking out on their own with their brains, in ways that artificial intelligence can't take your job,
Mm.
okay?
Mm.
Artificial intelligence, AI, cannot take the experience that we have to give to others and the stories we have to tell to others and the help we have to give and the motivation and the human to human. AI can't replicate that, at least
Ouais.
not now. not in a way that I think most people would be interested in. So I got to have this afternoon with this legend and her assistant, who is really accomplished as well, Emmy, and meet these young people and do this thing. But I want to say more about it. I realized yesterday, so that was Saturday. I realized on Sunday when I woke up and thought about it a while over coffee out here in the garden, it was not a cooking class. It wasn't. It was a Parisian lifestyle immersion experience. We were in her apartment in the 15th arrondissement, which is a corner apartment, so it has windows that are just amazing, and the cross airflow, um, incredible. And she's redone this. She bought it a while ago, I guess, and she has redone it just so exquisitely. There's not a
Mm.
better word that I've been able to come up with. And so ostensibly, she's teaching you how to cook a lunch, a bistro lunch. No, you're in a Parisian apartment experiencing the lifestyle that you would have if you had a Parisian apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And she has all the trucs, Trucs. I don't, how do you say that?
A
It's a
truc.
truc, all these truths, all these tips, all of these things that she's assimilated, I guess, through osmosis of living in France so long. But she's just bestowing it, every word out of her mouth, except for some of her
Mm.
jokes. Just seems like she's educating you on what it could be like for you to live in France. And I don't know who her client base is. I would imagine it's a lot of Americans who are thinking about either trips to France or living in France, or it could be people that just want to learn how to cook better. But you get so much more than that,
Right. Mm.
right? If you were here, you'd be, instead of our being remote like this, yeah, we'd be doing a podcast, but you'd also be getting a taste of what this lifestyle is like
Mm.
and how an
Exactly.
American sets up a home in France. And if
Right.
I were there with you, I would learn so much more than just what we're having as a conversation. I would be seeing what a home would be like in Spain
Right.
and what the lifestyle and ambiance could be like. Life, I think you know this, it's not just what's in front of us,
Mm.
it's everything.
J'adore. What's something you love about
Mhm.
France and about maybe French people or way of life or
I would like to talk about the French people. So, I have not had a bad experience with French people here. I've
hmm
had two mean people. One the a ner an office worker at a where I got my first MRI, you called an IRM.
right.
She was kind of mean, okay?
Eh,
And then a business owner here, another woman who was just kind of not very polite. Then she met my son, and now she loves me. My
okay.
son, my son is he's very beautiful. 6'3", gorgeous, D1 American football player for college.
Mm.
Beautiful. And it's not just me who thinks so. Okay. So she met him and now I'm like a good person.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
But to give you an example, I'm in a town called Seine-Port, Seine, like the Seine River, hyphen port
Okay.
here in Ile-de-France. And that's where I am for 4 months. I loved it. This little village of character.
Mm.
I'm there for 4 months before I can take this lease. All right. My next door neighbor, XL, she's bilingual and she's a registered nurse. She doesn't just notice my health deteriorating. She forces me to the emergency room.
Mm,
That's in June of 2025. And again, I moved over in December of 2024. She insists, she makes me go to find out
mm,
what's going on. So then I have a series of exams, and they determine it's, my hips, not my leg. When I end up with a dossier this big of all the appointments I need to have before and after surgery, she has me come to her house. I'm now living in Fontainebleau at this point. I come up, take an Uber. She has me come to her house an entire morning, hours, and she makes every single appointment for me.
oh,
I've known her just a few months. She has me come
mm,
into her home and she makes all the appointments for me.
mm,
But there's more, and it's not that people wouldn't do that in the United States. I just found it to be a rarity. And I get that she's a registered nurse and so she wants to help, but still, that was a really big ask, as we would say in the States. How did I get the dossier? The other set of friends, or three, another set of friends, he's bilingual. He agreed to have a phone conversation on a Saturday for over an hour at noon with the assistant for my surgeon to go over everything that I needed to have done. And he produced a two or three page Word document, almost like a PowerPoint, explaining everything afterwards. So, and cross-referenced so that and then sent it in French and English to the assistant so that when I went that Wednesday to pick up all of the tests and everything that I was going to need and all of the aftercare and I mean, I could not believe this package, this dossier. She was able to then cross-reference everything that he had created for her as well, so that it was just like super easy to tell what I needed to do so that when I went to Excel, I said, "Can you help me?" She said, "Yeah." She was able to get all of this done. I had just met these people. I'd known them
mm.
at that point, I'd known both sets of people 2 months. And then the third set of people are they own La Diva, the restaurant I always went to there in Sunport. They called me to wish me a happy birthday this year.
Ah, mm, très mignon.
Called. What WhatsApped me? Called me. Okay. Uh, there have been some other examples of people that have been more genuine.
Mm,
So in California, like the people that did the dossier, Eric and Ann, we met because my dog outside, it turns out their house, which turns out to be, I didn't know it was their house. It's an incredible chateau on the Seine River. Their son had his boat, he piloted the boat that brought the Olympic torch up the Seine River with all the celebrities to I think the final leg of the
okay.
Olympics. Okay. They know some people, right? And we met outside their house. I didn't know it was their house because of my dog. And I'm going, look at this house, blah, 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 blah. And look, La Plaque, La Plaque, a famous person had a summer there, Alfred Dumas, and all sorts of stuff. Okay. The author. And finally, Eric says, we know it's our house. And they invite me in.
Oui.
But I can't get in. I'm with my dog, and their cat Masuko won't let my dog through. She was not going to allow, and he was afraid of her, and he should have been. But so then they said, well, we need to get together. And they asked for my contact info. And so we got each other's WhatsApp. In California, I would have maybe heard from them eventually at some point in time. A few days later, Anne is texting me, if you'd like, you can join us at the park for this free concert. We'll have some drinks. So, and it's for a Sunday. I'm such an American. I had laundry. I was going to do laundry. And then I thought, don't be such an idiot, right? And you know it's involved. We don't have a dryer here.
Oui.
There's a process, right? You have to strategize the weather and whatever. So I'm like, don't be such an American idiot and say yes. So I say yes. So it's 3 in the afternoon. I get over to this. To me, it was amazing for 2 hours getting to
Mm.
see these two girls, guitar and the vocalist, and they play a boombox, right? Music. And to sit there and have this incredible French moment with the setting. You're outside, there's the trees, there's the petanque or whatever, the bocce ball thing.
Ah oui,
It
pétanque.
petanque. It is like out of a postcard. All right. And I'm sitting there and I'm involved in what's going on. And I'm being present and I'm enjoying the company. And they've had some other friends join us. But the part of me that's always kind of wondering about stuff way back here of this like little hamster, it's thinking, I wonder what's happening when this is over. I wonder what we're going to do. Am I just going to go home? Are we going to go get dinner? What are we going to do? And the next thing I know, after a couple hours and the concert's over, Anna and Eric say, okay, now we're going to our house. And I don't have the dog, so it's fine. They had apero, Ap- how do you say it?
Apéro.
Apero
Ouais.
on their estate. I mean, land, right? On the Seine River.
Ah,
This incredible setting. This
ouais.
beautiful, let's see, it's May. This beautiful mid-May day. I don't even know how to explain how sublime the setting was. There's a point to this. They wanted to talk, they wanted to know about me, they wanted me to know about them. We got into political conversations. I mean, there was not a topic we couldn't discuss. It was not superficial.
Mhm.
So it wasn't superficial, it was deep. It was resonant with care and wanting to understand. And it was unlike anything in the United States because of the setting. But these are people new to me and I'm new to them. And they have opened up their home and quickly.
Mm.
And not let's get coffee sometime, but if you'd like to meet us here at this time for this, and then now come over. And so that's who I turned to when I needed someone bilingual to talk with the assistant. Okay, for the
Yeah.
doctor. The doctor's fluent in both languages, at least English and French, but not his assistant.
Mm.
To me, this is so instructive of the people in France versus it's hard to get that in the United States at all,
Okay.
let alone that quickly. And then I also find here, and I say it in a lot of reels, you get what you give.
Mm.
I am not a loud, obnoxious American.
Mm.
Maybe here in my
Yeah.
house with my son, but not out on the street.
Yeah.
So for any of your followers, and you're growing your page.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. For any of your followers, your students who are from the US, if if you are polite to other people and kind and not pushy, people will treat you very well here.
Right. Mm. My last question is if someone is watching this and
Mhm.
dreaming about moving to France, but scared, or of course it will be scary anyway, I think.
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
Do it.
Don't think, do it.
I moved in 5 months.
Yeah.
Don't bring all your stuff over. Don't leave it in storage in the States. Just come over and do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say uh, rent first.
Mm.
Get a number of vacation rentals. Move around the country unless you absolutely know that you're going to live in Paris or you absolutely know that you want to be at a certain beach. Sorry, a beautiful butterfly just came through. Don't bring everything. Don't store everything. Just cut bait and come over. I wouldn't commit to a certain area myself. I wouldn't commit to a certain property right away. Be willing to be willing is one of my mantras. Be willing to move somewhere new and have it be somewhere new.
Mm.
Don't worry about creating a routine right away. Routines will happen. Be open to the change and the vitality. See, retiring in the United States or anywhere, the word itself means just to stop. I mean, I didn't just look it up. I'm guessing to retire. You retire for the night to go to sleep, right? You retire from your job to stop working. There's just so much volunteer work and coursework and stuff to do where you are. If you come over here, it's all new.
Mm.
And, and like I say in other reels, I really believe I have added not only years to my life, I believe I have added life to my years. You couldn't have told me 2 weeks ago I was going to talk to a 26-year-old entrepreneur from France who's now living in Spain about women who moved to France. You couldn't have told me I'd be on a podcast. I don't, I'm not, I'm not prone to being afraid. I
Mhm.
don't think you are either. Or maybe it's better to say I understand a lot about the function of courage, which is a French word, courage, and
Courage, ouais.
and your heart, right? It is less for me about not being afraid, and it
Mm.
is more about having the courage to push through
Exactement. That's exactly what I think. I'm scared of things every week.
every day.
Even starting this podcast, it's not something natural that I'll be like, it's so easy. No. But if I want the life I want,
hmm
I have to do things. I have to
Wait.
to act. And that's what I tell my students too. If they really want to integrate and really want, to be independent, speak French, feel comfortable, you will be scared, yes. But what your efforts and your courage is going to bring at the end is going to be so worth it.
Well, I had another gal reach out to me a few days ago about uh, taking some classes with her, because this Instagram thing is its own beast, right? So, and I said, well, let me tell you, I'm doing a podcast with Speak French with Lisa. I want to find out more about what she does before I talk with anyone about a course. I think you've convinced me.
Ooh.
You want to tell me more right now that you would like people to hear about in this podcast?
I can tell you just quickly.
Yeah.
Basically, what I do is a lot of speaking in my sessions. Even though you're a beginner, we do a bit of grammar, but a lot of speaking. Like we start speaking from day one. And I really don't believe that you need to have perfect French.
Um,
especially at the beginning. For me, this comes after if you want to get it more with less mistakes. But I'm fluent in Spanish and I still make mistakes, and it doesn't matter, really. It doesn't, just the fact of that I'm trying and connecting with people, they will not act differently with me because I'm confident enough
mm.
and I know what I'm doing, even though it's not perfect, and they feel it and they will treat you differently.
They know you're trying,
Exactement. And you can make yourself understand,
and
even
you're
when
being
you're starting.
respectful. You're being respectful by trying.
Exact. Ouais. They see you differently, yes. Ouais.
Yeah.
So that's how I make decisions. And I have programs then depending on your level. Um, but it's mostly I have one-to-one, and I also have for people who know already a bit of French, group
Right.
conversations, conversation workshops.
Mm.
Um, but yes, you can follow, so you can see all the new things coming up.
Do you have
And
the information on your your Instagram account for me to?
yes, yes,
Okay. All right.
I have everything there on the link tree, on
Okay.
the profile.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And if people want to move to France and talk with you,
Oh,
they can go on your Instagram, right?
yeah. Yeah. Instagram. It's so fun.
Mm.
And I'm meeting really, really cool people. In fact, one of the gals that I really connected with, well, she decided to get a temporary vacation rental near my house, and she arrives in July, and we're gonna hang out.
Yeah, that's nice to meet people in real
Yeah,
life then. Yeah.
I was really there. There's a couple of people I'm looking forward to meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa, again, when you thought of your thing, I don't think you thought of all of this that's happening, and there'll be more. There's more.
Mm-hmm.
There's more coming to you.
We'll see.
Because you've opened up the space for it to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to an old lady from California. If if you want to have life be certain and so on. And that's the other thing about the language skills, though, that you're going to be helping people with. It does create that fluidity and that ability to maneuver, right?
Mm.
The more you know the language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the culture.
And the culture, the nuances. Okay,
Merci,
my
Jen.
dear. I think we got it.
Yeah, thank you so much for
You'll be
sharing
hearing.
all of this. I really admire everything, like where you are now, and how you talk about what happened to you, because it's when hard things happen and you're by yourself and you choose to change your whole life and your whole beliefs, it takes a lot, and you did it, so bravo.
Bravo to you as well.
À
Right.
bientôt, Jen.
À bientôt. Bye
Ciao,
bye.
ciao.